Hi there, welcome to our channel. I'm Vic.
And I'm Nick.
And we are NV Board Gaming. And today we're continuing our top 100 games of all time. Now for me, I just joined in with top 50 games. It's a little easier for my brain to handle ranking these games. It's already hard enough with 50. I don't know how you did 100.
I actually want to do a lot more because I was looking at my after 100 and I was like, oh man, I left a lot of good games off that list.
I know, and that's the feeling I was getting at 50. And I did
next year 100.
Yeah. I stayed away from watching Nick's videos while I was preparing my list because I didn't want to end up getting influenced in any way, and I watched it actually just before producing this video. I decided I would watch them just so I could reference them properly, and it was interesting. It made me think about the games that I like, but I'm not going to spoil anything. Yeah, so we're going to start off with our number 50 games. Do you want to kick it off with your 50? Continue.
Sure. My number 50 is probably my favorite abstract. I didn't look at my list, but I can't think of a better one than Onitama. Onitama, I love it. I have the app. I'll play it because Vic, I don't think, is as much of a fan. I guess we'll find out. I love Onitama. I think it's brilliant. We have the expansions. We have 2 expansions for it. I threw in one, which is like extra cards and things like that. But I don't really throw in the other one that has the wind, that token. That one I liked at first, and then it kind of fell off for me. Then like, you know what? I like the old way, just the standard way that it came in the box. And I love Onitama. I think it's fantastic. If you haven't tried it, it's very chess-like. There are 2 ways to win. You can win by the way of the stream, they call it, which is getting to your master pawn to the other opponents where they started their master pawn. And the other way is the way of the stone, which is actually capturing the master. So the way the board's set up, really quickly, you have a master in the middle, and this is in the back row, and you have 4 students. Your opponent has the same, and you're just going back and forth, taking turns with cards. You have 2 cards, and you also have 1 in the middle. So you know when you spend a card, you're going to get the 1 in the middle, and that will become part of your 2 cards, and it's going to go back and forth. So everything that you're putting out there, your opponent is then going to get back and forth to see who wins, and it's a great abstract.
Yeah, and this is actually a game that we featured in our top games if you like chess. So definitely check that video out if that sounded interesting to you and you want to learn more about other games that are chess-like. Yeah. So my 50, number 50 for me, is Champions of Midgard. Really have a lot of fun rolling dice. I love rolling dice, having different colored dice, getting to acquire them. It's a Viking game, so in the game, the theme already appeals to me. I do like Viking games. And it is nice to go and battle different monsters that come out, and you have to go on a voyage, but you have to dedicate enough food to do it. And it's just, there's a lot to the game, and it's a lot of fun. It has expansions, which I've enjoyed. I do prefer to play it with the expansions. But just a really fun dice rolling game if you're into that. And it's really not that difficult to learn. I don't think it's that crazy. I mean, there's a lot of different spots that you can go to. It's a worker placement game as well. Lot of different places you can go, but really not that difficult to pick up.
It's next step up from Lords of Waterdeep, and I would be curious to see which one you prefer, so I'll see if Lords of Waterdeep comes up later or not. I am curious. And yeah, the expansions, Valhalla, and I think Dark Mountain is the other one.
The names escaped me.
Yeah, Valhalla is one that's highly acclaimed because it adds a little more mechanism-wise. Yeah, good pick. See, number 49 is a deduction game, and I'm thinking about it. It's my second one on the list because I consider Stop Thief kind of a deduction game. You're kind of deducing where people are moving, and that was my number 99, I think, or somewhere around there. So my number 49 is another deduction game. It is about finding a cryptid. The game Cryptid is what it's called, and super clever game. I mean, this is the most clever game on my top 100, I think. It's right up there. It's got to be number 1 and number 2 because I can think of another one. I love it. It's fantastic. You're trying to find a cryptid before everyone else. You're asking these questions. Everyone has their own little book. You're trying to figure out what the rule is that everyone has, that everyone knows their own little rule from their book. And it's crazy that there's only one spot on the board that works out every single time. And that's genius. I love the game. It's super awesome. If you have not played Cryptid and you like deducing things, like puzzling things, trying to solve things, Cryptid's awesome.
I couldn't believe I won that one super quick one time. We were playing. I don't remember how many turns it was. I don't want to mislead anyone, but it was crazy. And I just, you never think.
That makes the game a little better, doesn't it?
Suddenly you know where this cryptid is. You go, of all the places on this board, and you can get a little dejected, I guess, when you feel like you're going through it and you're not.
No idea.
You're missing, and you're like, but I was so sure. Are you sure? And that's another thing, is making sure people know what the rules are.
Yes, that's one downfall.
It is fun. It's a lot of fun. All right. So for me, number 49. Now this is going to move up, and I know it is, but I just in good faith could not rank this one higher because I only had one opportunity to play it. And this game we played with Randy at Legends of Nerdvana. It's the Coloma game. It's a Western themed game, really cool. You have a chance to shoot out with bandits. You're going to different spots on the board, but it has a unique mechanism for going to it. Do you recall the
action selection?
The action selection,
yeah, and if more people take that action, it's not as good.
Yeah. So
but if you're the only one, you get 2 actions essentially. And it's,
Yeah. No, I like that too. That something interesting about picking the what you're going to go with, and what is someone else going to do, and just love the theme. For me, I enjoy it, and regrettably, it is out of print, so we're not able to snag it. But it is on our capture list for sure.
Yeah. What's his name? The designer. He commented on something when we did a video with another contributor.
Mm-hmm.
I can picture his avatar and all the things. Oh man, if I think of it, I'm doing the same thing Andrew did. Andrew did this with John D. Clare, who designed Space Base. In their video, he couldn't think of it, and now I can't think of this guy. Johnny Pack. There it is. Got it. He's a designer. He commented on a video we collaborated with Don't Be Bored, another channel, and he said, "Yeah, this is going to be back in print in 2022." So we have not bought secondhand market, but we would definitely buy it because we did have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, I just liked it right away.
And I'm with her. I only played it once, so can't really comment too much other than I did enjoy my play very much. All right, so we're on 48. 48 I mentioned briefly in a past video because it was one of the surprising ones like Fabled Fruit. This is Camel Up. Camel Up is a surprise because it looks like a kid's game.
Yeah.
And it's super fun. You can bring out your friends that don't play games, and this is one of the first ones I'll pop out. If you haven't played it before, I'll play that one with you. If you've already played it, maybe I wouldn't, because I want to introduce them to this. I want to introduce a bunch of people to this game because it's so fun and it's so easy to teach. It's laughs. It's great fun. The camels are moving back sometimes.
The crazy camels that are going the reverse. Yeah.
Yeah, your actions are simple, and you're betting on the right camel. Essentially, all your decisions are based on what is going to give you the most money. Whoever has the most money at the end, betting on camels, or betting on different conditions, or setting little traps that give you coins, is going to win, and it's super fun, clever.
Yeah, and manipulating the movements of the camels, and then just betting, like being the first to bet, and then getting the most money because you were the first one to put the correct camel out, and you have to be kind of choosy about how many bets you're going to put out ultimately because it's going to cost you for putting too many out there that are wrong.
Sure.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love that game. And it has beautiful presents. When you see it out on the table.
The new edition does, yes.
Yeah, the new one. Very important. Yeah, that it has a way better pyramid for the way you disperse the dice for moving the camels. And I just think it looks a lot better. It has a stand-up palm tree. A lot of fun. Good table presents. So 48 for me. So this game is a little bit boring looking by the cover maybe, and even Nick himself wasn't sure if he would like it based on, kind of watching an okay score for it. And I had put it in my most anticipated games and game I wanted. And this game is a car making game. It is called Craftwagon. And I know this was in your list. It was up there on quite high on the top 100, right? It was in the upper quadrant, I believe. Yeah.
83.
Okay. Yeah. So I thought so. So he doesn't like it quite as much as I do, but
83 is good.
Yeah, 83 compared to like 450 whatever games that we have played. I definitely
have played way
and owned. Yes, geez, played way more. Okay. But yeah, Craftwagon, just so fun. Not the nicest or like sexiest game when you look at it, but the theme is awesome. I really like cars. I'm a big car enthusiast. I enjoy games where you get to build cars, and it's just interesting the different cars that come out, and they're historic as well, which is really cool. And I like the way that you have to bid to be able to sell a car and have that perfect customer that you match with the vehicle that you've been assembling. And the racetrack, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, upgrading the body, upgrading the engines. Yeah, it's cool.
Cool. It's a good one.
All right, so that brings us to number 47. Number 47, I think, is another one of those games on my list that people have in their top 10, perhaps even their number 1 of all time. And I hear a lot of people ranking this their number 1 of all time. At least a few years ago I did. Not as much anymore. And it is Great Western Trail. Great Western Trail is a fantastic Alexander Pfister game. I think it was the first one that we played, maybe the second. I'm not sure. It might have been the second Alexander Pfister game we played. We played several others now. One of them just fell off my list barely. Blackout Hong Kong barely fell off my list. Alexander Pfister game. It came in at 105. This one, Really, really good as far as you're essentially not set collecting. You're trying to get different cows to your pasture at the end of Kansas City, and you're trying to move your train along, your wagon along as far as you can go. I think it was a train, wasn't it?
It is a train, yeah. Locomotive.
You're trying to get it, and with the expansion, you have even more areas that you can sugar off and a whole other board. The expansion is really good. Some people's favorite. Andrew likes that expansion a lot. I remember that. Yeah. Great game, and you've probably, if you're watching this channel, there's a good chance you've played it, or you've been turned off by the theme and haven't played it. But I'm here to tell you, it is a good game.
Yeah, I really enjoy that game. All right, number 47 is Porta Nigra for me. This game, I almost forgot about it, and then I remembered we haven't played it in a long while. But it has a really fun, chunky little city bricks, I guess you are building up different spots of this, is it called a rondelle? Is that what it would be? Or you're just moving around? Yeah, so it's nice that you get to move around, but you have to think about where you're going, what bricks you have in your supply, and what you're going to put out, and where you're going to put those out, because you may have to back off of some areas because you're not going to score as many points, or you're trying to get a special card at the bottom that has the depicted building that you're trying to work on. And it's so much fun the way that you play the game with the cards that you end up determining your actions with when you play the cards out. I really enjoy the colors that this game presents, and I think a lot of people forget about it. I don't know. I really enjoy Porta Nigra.
I did not forget about it. It did not make my. I was wondering, did I forget about it? No, it's 140. So I liked it quite a bit, but not as much as you.
Not enough. Yeah.
It reminds me of like a Feld game, but it's not. I think it is Kiesling. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Michael Kiesling. Is it I think they collaborate. There was like a collector series where two designers collaborated. I think it was Kramer and Kiesling.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Or Kramer, he might say his last name. That one is fun. And the cards that you mentioned, they remind me of a game like Raccoon Tycoon and Lizard Wizard, where the icons appear. You could take those things. And it just reminds me how simple of a structure that card design is, and it reminded me of those games.
Yeah.
All right, going to 46. 46 is a card game version of a very popular game. This one is Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition. We kickstarted this one. Fantastic. We played it at 4. We played it at 4 a few times. We played it at 2 a lot of times. Just a simpler version of Terraforming Mars. I like this one better. That's why it's ranked a little higher. I had Terraforming Mars on my last list. But because I'm not a huge fan of the board play in Terraforming Mars, I think that's the weakest part. The strongest part was the card play. And I love Race for the Galaxy. I love it. So I'm going to be very favored. I'm going to look at this very favorably.
Yeah, you're the market.
It's an instant back for me. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, it takes Race for the Galaxy and Terraforming Mars. Sold. I want that. Yeah. So if you like either of those games, I would say if you like both, get this one if you have not tried it. If you like just one, maybe not. Maybe don't get it.
It's definitely a nice collision of the two games, and it's so fun to come up. The amount of cards that you have in that game. There are so many cards in the game that you're always finding something new. I find.
And if Terraforming Mars is your favorite game of all time, don't worry about it. Don't even get it, because you'll just keep that because you like the board play, you like everything about it. That's your number one game of all time. You don't want to dumb down, I don't call it dumb down actually. You don't want it a more travelable version of Terraforming Mars.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so my number 46 is a game that you just mentioned not long ago. It is Great Western Trail. Nice. For all the reasons Nick said, really fun set collection. I like the artwork personally, and I like the little traps that you can set for people where you can force them to have to pay to go another way around. And there was a time that Nick and I played, and I think it was like 8 minutes or 10 minutes, and I wouldn't move because I had to pay him a coin, and I was so mad. I can't believe you put your tile there to make me pay my fare to come through. I'm your wife, you know. But it's okay. A lot of fun, Great Western Trail. I just love collecting the different cows, buying expensive ones, and then bringing them to the end, seeing how far you can go with the train, where you're going to put it out. And I like the people that you get to hire with it, the way that you can assemble sort of like a table of and try to get bonuses by collecting those employees. And it's a fun game. Really good. Yeah.
All right, number 45 has an expansion. It's similar to a game that I mentioned earlier. This one, it would be, and this is a little weird because we've only played it at 2, and its brother, we want to play at 2. His brother is Grand Austria Hotel. The game I'm talking about is Lorenzo Magnifico. We've only played it at 2, and it might even be better at 3 and 4. And it's crazy that it's this high on the list when we've only played it at 2. I would like to play it at 4. I had it out last time at game night, like as a consideration, like 3 choices. I had Lorenzo. We have the expansion, which I think is actually a little rare. People, I don't know if they even know it exists because it doesn't seem like it's sold very well. I like the expansion, so I'm not sure what the deal is there. Lorenzo Magnifico is just it's Simone Luciani designed both those games that I mentioned. It's a Euro game through and through. You're hiring from these different towers, and they do different abilities on your board, give you different powers, or give different victory like end points at the end. Yeah, and different things happen. And it's really tight because you can't really place where you want to place. You're getting blocked all over, left and right. Interesting, but you always find a way around it. You always find something to do. You dig deep and say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to chain off this row and get all the good stuff. Or I'm going to go here and get some servants, the purples, the purple meeples. And there's always something for you to do. Something's there. You can get money. You can do whatever. So yeah, super fun game.
Yeah, I really enjoy that. And you can try different strategies. You can deploy different things. And when you have different specialists that you end up hiring those historical figures, I really like the historical significance. I like having to look up someone and see, what did they do? Yeah, I like that. So 45 for me is one of a trilogy of games. It's one that we do play, but not as much as the other ones. I really like it a lot. Obviously, it's being ranked in this list. I'm going to not do that every game. But Architects of the West Kingdom. This game, least favorite, I think, of all the 3, definitely. I just don't like getting arrested. But aside from that, just the way the game is, the artwork is kind of funky to me. I don't know. I like that whole series of artwork. I really enjoy looking at this people. Why did they draw that person like this? This is so unflattering. But it's just great mechanics in the game. I really enjoy the worker placement of it, if you like worker placement games. And it's not very difficult, really. It's a little cutthroat, too. There's some arresting, rounding people up that some people don't enjoy at all times. And it's just a clever game, exchanging resources. I like that part of it. And Architects of the West Kingdom is my 45.
Got it. Nice. Despite not wanting to be arrested. Number 44 for me is a game that we should play more often, but it does require more players, so we can't just play it at 2. Eric Lang game called Rising Sun. Rising Sun has nice miniatures. The gameplay is super silky smooth. I love it. I prefer it over Blood Rage, which again, one of those things that could be blasphemy, especially people that haven't even played Rising Sun, only played it one time. But to be honest, we've only played it 2 times. And the first time, unsure. I was like, I need to play this again. I need to get it. Kind of like Ankh. I need to play it again. I don't know if I like that or not. But I was leaning toward, I think I like this. And I do. The second time I played it, solidified it. It makes the list. I have super fun playing this area control game. Different phases, seeing what is the more of the priority on the board for that round. And doing fights. It's super fun. I love Rising Sun.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there allegiances in that one? Or
yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I really thought was interesting.
So you cannot do a 2-player.
Yeah, that's what I thought was interesting. So number 44 for me, Nick already mentioned this in earlier videos of this list, and this game is a great individual puzzle that you kind of undertake, but there's some interaction with other players because you're kind of fighting over quilt pieces to build this board of your own. It's called Calico. I got excited and I was like, Calico. And there's cute little cats that you can put out on your quilt. And I just love the cats. They have a whole section of the rule book that talks about the cats and has a whole story of the cats. So it's amazing. There's pictures of cats if you like cats. This game's for you if you like, even if you don't like quilts or you're not into crocheting or knitting, it doesn't matter. You can play this game. It's really a puzzle that you can undertake yourself, and we always have no problem bringing it out. It's easy for people to learn it, and we find that it just has a beautiful presence, and people have fun placing like chunky tiles down. I do. I've really gone into tile placement kick recently, so I scored that one. 44.
Yeah, definitely a good little puzzle. All right, we're on number 43. Number 43, we played first time on our honeymoon at Snakes and Lattes in Mesa, and that was Rajas of the Ganges. Another couple designed that, so a really fun game. Dice, you're using dice to do all kinds of things. It's like dice placement on the left side of the board. You're crossing bridges, or you're going down the water to get different things, and you have your little player board, which is actually like what do you call that?
Krishna? Is
That's
it?
how it is?
Yeah, I believe that's their god. Yeah.
With all the arms. And anyway, it's really fun. You're doing your own little tile placement too on your own board, where you can try to make it connect to the ends and get bonuses, and meet to the very end, which gives you even higher bonuses. And you're trying to, the expansions are good. They have goodie boxes, they call them. Pack 1 is good. Pack 2 didn't interest me. I watched a video on it. Didn't interest me at all. But Pack 1 looked very good. I bought that, and I did enjoy what that added with snakes and the different things. So yeah, this one was instantly, I liked it. Very first time I played it. Scored it very high when I first played it. We were walking back to our hotel. I'm like, man, I loved that game. We played On Tour the first time then too. I loved that one too, but Raja's was a bit better. And On Tour made this list too, but very 94.
Yeah,
that was 94.
I thought that was closer to 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 43 for me is a game that we first played on the computer, and it didn't have as deep of an impact because when we played it, this game is all about the visuals. It's all about the standees that you get to put out, and you really build out this beautiful garden space, and you're playing down tiles and you're putting people down, and it has a great theme to me. I like that the Asian themes. When we play games with an Asian theme, I enjoy it. But this is Tang Garden. I just really like the scenery. You're trying to get the perfect people to look at the right spaces. Am I thinking of the right one?
Yes, you are.
Thank God. Sometimes I get it mixed up with a different game, and when it's a tile placement, I'm thinking, oh boy.
Oh, yeah, I wonder what that other one would be. Tile placement.
But it's fun. You get to put out landscape tiles and get to match. You score off bonuses for putting the tiles down and having the right terrain. And then there's people who don't want to see other people, so you kind of have to work with that. But then there's other people who want to see specific terrains or specific landscape elements. And you get to put them inside of these little gazebo areas and put them on a bridge. I don't know, just so much fun. Decorate with trees. It's a good game. Altogether, that is my number 43.
Another one of those burdens of doing a limited list where you got to do a hard stop at a number, because that one was 108, and I would love to have talked about it, and I have a chance right now, but I'll just say that I like the game.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful, and just the online version didn't sell it as well as when you play it in front of you.
All right, number 42, another Asian themed game, but this one is set in Japan. Very dry looking. We played it this time, another board game cafe. We played this one in Chicago though. Remember, it just clogged up our table. We could barely put our drinks on it. If I can find a picture, I'll put it up right now. It is Yokohama. Yokohama is awesome. We've only played this 2. We are definitely gonna have to play it 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Because it's so fun, and that's at 2. They actually, because it might not be best at 2, they actually made like a Yokohama duel, and I don't think people really bought that at all. I don't know how it's ranked on Board Game Geek, but they must have been insecure with their 2-player version. I don't know. I think it's awesome at 2. I'll play it anytime at 2. But yeah, more tiles will be out there, more areas to go to if you played at higher player counts. Just a fantastic game where you can get these different cards that will give you bonuses, let you change your game up a bit if you can afford it with the gears. There's so much going on, really, because you get different resources out there based on things you went to, trigger off different things with houses on them that give you bonuses.
The president's location and why it matters and moving them. Yeah. It's amazing.
It's cool. It's very cool. And there's a bunch of different boards. So again, kind of like Crystal Palace, where it can be overwhelming. You see it like, ooh, this is going to be a tough learn. But it's not that bad. It's just there is quite a few moving parts. That is Yokohama.
That's a great pick.
It is.
I'll just say that.
I agree.
My 42 is a game I don't want to even say. I don't want to say it.
I made the list.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Even though it's huge.
What game is it?
Well, it's Praga Kaput Ragni. We say it like Nick mentioned in the previous video. We do say it at random in this household. I don't know what it is. The Smiths love to say it, but I don't. But it's a really fun game. There's so much going on. Nick already talked a lot about the game, but not that easy to deploy for somebody. I don't think it's an entry-level game whatsoever. It's not even close. It's a little bit complex. There's a lot going on, and we had to use 2 cameras, as Nick mentioned. When we were capturing that, we had to actually use 2 cameras just to explain and give an overview of this game. But just has really cool pieces too, like the 3-dimensional bridge, which you don't really need to have, but you move up on it in one part by the river, and there's a supposed to be when the dice draw, or this little cube drops as this thing goes around on the side to track the rounds, and you have to make a choice about grabbing what you're going to give to your opponent and how good things get. There's meaningful decisions, which I really enjoy that. And despite its appearance and so much going on and your eyes kind of cross when you look at the board, I like all the stuff that you have to think about in the game, and I like the meaningful decisions.
Nice.
Yeah.
And another game where there's a lot to look at. Yokohama and then Praga Kaputaraki.
Yeah.
And eggs are a commodity in that game where you're spending eggs.
Who would have thought?
Pretty readily. Yeah, it's something to do with the Prague history.
Yeah.
All right. This is the last one of this list. We're at number 41.
Yeah.
Underwater themed game. Great design and a great expansion that we picked up fairly recently, and this is Aquatica.
I thought so.
Aquatica is number 41. You have all these cards you're tucking under. As you trigger the actions shown on that card, you're tucking under farther. And then as soon as you actually deplete the actions on that card, go ahead and that's going to be victory points. Lot of fun, super good game. You can get different cards, like a deck build kind of thing going on as well. You have objectives, you have all kinds of stuff going on, and it's a nice appearance as well. The cards are great, so it's definitely one that you should try out, and that is Aquatica, number 41.
All right. So last on this list for me is a game that Nick mentioned in a previous video. It is Red Cathedral, the Red Cathedral to be exact. Just wow, this game it doesn't have much going on. Like when you bring it out to the board, it doesn't take up that much space, but then you build out this beautiful building and everyone is cooperating to build this building, and you're claiming spots, you're hoping you can finish constructing them, that you're going to bring the resources needed, and not everyone's going to be able to use all of their claim tokens to build it, so there is a race there that you want to be out there first. Nick mentioned the way that the dice move in this rondelle and how clever it is, re-rolling them all. So I love rolling those dice. I like having that chance to do that. So it's fun to be able to roll dice and add decorations so that even if you did build a piece of the cathedral, you get to add something onto it and then try to be part, at least score some points for being part of the construction. And maybe if you put enough decorations out, you can surprise, you actually have majority ownership of that tower. And just, yeah, it's a fun, I really enjoy the way that you can upgrade the dice as well. There's a space on your player board where you can start to make red dice, give you an extra bonus. Everybody has, by default, their player color gives them an edge on a certain dice color. So that's kind of cool, this asymmetrical boards that you wouldn't expect. And I like that you can just choose to, which ones am I going to upgrade, so that when you use those dice in the future for getting actions, you're going to get more bonuses on top of that.
All right. We'll be careful not to, don't want you to get the impression that it's a cooperative game. It's not cooperative at all.
Yeah.
But we finally got to play it at 4 after, because I mentioned it at my 51 when I ranked it, that we had not got to play it at 4. I'm like, it's got to come out, and it did. It came out at 4, and it was awesome. I'm not sure if it would go any higher for me. We were not going to do this for another year at least, so it maybe rise up and maybe it fades away, but it was super fun.
Yeah, it was great at 4. Nick didn't have an opportunity, so when I watched it, I thought, I wonder what he thinks about the 4-player. It is not a co-op, but it is a great game altogether.
Well, we still have to do an overview and a review of that, so that's going to have some good scores. Not a big surprise.
Spoiler.
Yep, that's good.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this portion of the list. We will see you next time with a list of 40 to, what is it? 40 to 39. 31. I'm bad with numbers. I kept asking, I'm like, we're going to 41? Okay. So stay tuned for that list. And then eventually, as mentioned before, we're all going to come together, Nick, myself, Andrew, Sam, and we're going to give our top 10 games of all time all together. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.